Hello and welcome to Die Rolling. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and today I'm going to be playing Warhammer Quest, Cursed City, aka the game that Games Workshop does not want you to play. So this is a game I've been very excited about, and luckily I have managed to source a copy of this, and I furiously painted this over a week or so in the evenings. And I got to a point where, do you know what, I'm ready to do a level 0 quest. I haven't painted everything, but I've painted everything you need for a level 0 hunt quest. So we're going to get that to the table in a moment and give it a go. I may make some mistakes in this, so this is my first proper playthrough of a full hunt journey, so chances are I will make some mistakes. So if that's going to trigger you, I apologise, and if you do spot any mistakes, please leave comments below and I will add a little mistakes were made section. Yeah, so let's see how we get on. So here we are in our very first Cursed City level, and this is a hunt journey, which basically means we're trying to kill 10 champions of the evil Radikar the Wolf, and then we just gotta get the hell out of Dodge. So let's start off by talking about my characters here. So to begin with, we have Jelson Derek, who is a witch hunter. He's also an executioner. He's human and he's from the Order of Zir. That means nothing to anybody. So this is his character card here. So Jelson Derek, he has got an Ardent Blade, he's got Judgment, and he has Firewood Stakes. Now, what this kind of means is we're going to be rolling some dice, and we're going to place the dice in these sections here. And then depending on what the dice value is, we can use that dice value to do different things. And the numbers next to the Ardent Blade and Judgment here, these are what numbers we need to place, we use to actually perform these effects. So let's have a quick read of his cards. So the Ardent Blade is pretty good. Melee, red dice, which is the best dice in there. Does 2 damage if it's a single hit. And if we get 2 hits on the dice, it does 3 damage. Next is Judgment, which is 5 or more. It's a range, so that's the big kind of rifle he's got on his back there. You're going to be rolling 2 of the blue dice for this, but it doesn't mean you're going to be taking both those results. You basically pick the best one. It does 2 damage on a regular and 4 on a crit. Then Firewood Stakes, which are dual, which means you can use these in ranged or melee. They do 1 damage each. So you'll notice there's a little 1 next to Judgment, which means it reloads. So this weapon action can only be made once per turn, because you've got to reload it. And then next to Firewood Stakes, we have a little 2 there, which is Finisher. The weapon action cannot be made by spending activation dice. Now, the reason for that is because his unique abilities, each time an attack roll for this hero is successful, if the target is still visible, this hero can make 1 free Firewood Stakes weapon action against the same target. So basically, every time he attacks somebody, we get to roll one of these square dice, a d6, a white dice. And on his left here, we have his stats. So his move is 3 if we spend any number dice. But if we spend 3 or more, we get to run, which is this value here. He's got blue for agility, blue for defense, and he's got white for vitality. We currently don't have any traits because we're at level 0, and we don't have any armor or weapon. His path to glory, though. Each time a weapon action made by this hero slays a hostile champion, gain 1 inspiration point. And then we can flip him over at some point to become glorified. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. Jelson is our hero leader for this particular expedition. This journey, should I say, Expeditions Blackstone Fortress, isn't it? And he is represented by this kind of hammer here. Next, we have Brutog Corpse Eater, who is a stored ogre man-eater. And this is his pretty cool mini. I quite enjoyed painting that guy. So that's the next guy in our party. He's represented by this this anvil and lightning bolt. Let's have a look at his cards. So his movement is 3-4. His agility is terrible. His defense is okay, and his vitality is very good. So he's good at kind of defending himself. He's good at kind of restoring hit points and stuff, even. So he's got the Gut Gouger, which does 2 blue dice. It only does 1 damage, but it's 3 for a crit. And the Marrow Masher, which is a 4 or more, and it's a red dice. It's 2 or 4 damage depending on what we get. The Marrow Masher costs more to do. This guy is full on melee, no ranged attacks for him. So here's his unique abilities. Tenderizing Blows. So a 6 or more, this action can only be made once per turn. This hero makes a free Marrow Masher weapon action. Reroll failed attack rolls for that action. That weapon action has a damage value of 3/5 for that attack. And then Shoulder Barge. This action can only be made once per turn. This hero makes a free run action and can move adjacent to hostiles without ending that action. For that action, they can move through hostiles but must end the action in an empty space. Then pick one hostile as a move through and roll red. If the roll is successful, that hostile is stunned. Been there, ate that. When making an inspiration roll, double the wounds value of all hostiles slain during this hero's activation. So that's our next guy, Brutal Corpse Eater. Then we go to Captain Imelda Braskov. I'm currently listening to the Cursed City audiobook, and she's one of the characters in it, and I'm really enjoying her character. So I wanted to choose her for this because she's got a vested interest in seeing Radikar the Wolf is slain, and that the whole place is returned back to how it, well, kind of how it was, I hope. So she's not great at agility. She's okay at defense and vitality. She has one weapon, which is the Dawnlight, that big sword she's got there. 1 or more, she can do a melee for red, 2 or 4 damage depending on what we get. And for a 6 or more, we can do it once per turn. Pick 2 hostiles that are adjacent to each other, or 2 hostiles in the same space. Those hostiles must also be adjacent to this hero. Make 1 free Dawnlight weapon action against each of those hostiles. So basically 2 attacks for the price of 1. And then Battle Instincts once per turn during the Gambit set. This hero can swap the position of their initiative card on the combat track with that of one other hero who agrees to switch position. And Path to Glory, Cut Them Down. Each time this hero slays 3 or more hostiles during the same activation, gain 1 inspiration point. So that's Imelda Braskov, and she's got the comment of Sigma there, and she's represented by this miniature here, this is probably my favourite miniature that I've done for Cursed City. I'm no professional painter, so apologies for the terrible paint jobs I have done on these, but for my benefit, I'm enjoying them. For my use anyway. So finally, we have Morval Albrecht. Now, Morval does not come with Cursed City, the base game. He is an additional character that you can get if you get the hard cover version of the book Cursed City, which I managed to track down at my local games workshop, so I was pretty happy to pick that up. His miniature is from a Collegiate Battle Mages set. I got this before I got the rest of the game, so he's on a smaller base, and I've had trouble getting him off the base. So he's actually a large character, but he's on a smaller base here, and at some point I might be able to get him off. But I thought he was quite a cool miniature, and he is a really interesting character in the book. He's a horrible guy, but needs must, I guess. So Morval Albrecht. He's got 2 attacks here. He's got Grave Bloom, which is a 1 or more. We roll 2 of the not great dice. It does 1 or 2 damage. And Word of Ending, which is 5 or more ranged, and 2 or 4. So the Grave Bloom has Grasping Soul Thorns. Damage suffered from this weapon action cannot be reduced or ignored. Now his unique abilities, so once per turn he could do a Soul Storm, which is 6 or more. Roll blue dice for each hero, excluding this hero, and each hostile on the same board tile as this hero. If the roll is critically successful, that hero or hostile suffers 3 damage. So basically, get him on a tile with a bunch of people, and he's going to be damaging. He could be doing a lot of damage. Path to Glory. When another hero on the same board tile as this hero suffers damage, roll the red dice. If the roll is successful, gain 1 inspiration point. Yeah. He's really is an uncaring ally. He's got movement of 3/4. He's not great agility or defense, but he's okay at vitality. So that concludes our heroes here. Just quickly, he's also represented by this kind of staff there. So these are our 4 little heroes starting off the adventure. And let's face them the right way, because they're going to be coming up against the forces of the Cursed City. So, like I say, in a hunt, you have got to take out 10 champions. And we're going to be drawing out new... every time you kill off a group of enemies in this, then more enemies are going to be coming on the board. So Blackstone Fortress, if you've played that or if you're aware of that, that was a game where you would have only a certain set hostiles on the map for the entire gameplay session, whereas this time around, they keep rotating. And there's also an ability to drive people off. So basically, if you've only got a couple of enemies in a group, and there's only one or I think it says a third or less of the deployed unit at the start of the turn. If there isn't that many people left, they basically attack and then just disappear off the board. So let's take a look at who we're dealing with on our first excursion. So this is the map itself. And I'm going to be honest here, I'm not very happy with the actual tiles they've used for this. It's a really like reflective, cheap kind of, yeah, it's just not great. Blackstone Fortress had some really nice components and quality production. This feels rushed, if I'm honest. It looks lovely though, but yeah, very shiny, and it doesn't like feel very nice. So we have some Ulfenwatch up here, these two skeletal warriors, and the guy on the right-hand side, he's actually the champion there. So we're going to try and take him out. Behind him, there you can see there's that hanged man there. He's an exciting point of interest there. So if we can go there, we can basically search and potentially find some interesting weapons or abilities or something fun there. But it could also be a trap, so we've got to watch out. At the far end there, you can see a spawn point. So enemies are going to be coming through at certain points of the game through these spawn points. At the top here, we have one of the first real badasses in the game, and that is Watch Captain Halgrim, and he is the leader of the Ulfenwatch, who are the skeletal warriors in this. So we've really got to watch out for him, and we can take him out. We'll get some points for doing that. And then we have some corpse rats over here. The one on the left here is the kind of boss corpse rat there. So if we've managed to take them out, we'll also achieve getting a champion there. Over here we have our kind of time dial here, and we're going to be moving various things from here and moving things around, and I'll go through those as and when we do them. We have our initiative tracker up here, so I've drawn the encounters at the top here, which basically told me what to pull out and where to put them, and then these are the different stats for the different like enemies we have on the board. So I'm going to quickly read through those enemies, and I think once we've done this, we're about ready to play the game. So let's go for the Ulfenwatch first. So they've got a movement of 3, they've got 2 wounds, and they're small, which means I put them next to each other, but they can actually go on the same space, so I'm going to do that. So they're both actually on the same space now. I've just moved them. Right, so they've got 2 white dice. They don't do a ton of damage because they've got rusted weapons. Special rules, City Guard Patrol. A hostile group that contains any Ulfenwatch cannot include more than 1 Ulfenwatch Sergeant or more than 1 Ulfenwatch Banner Bearer, which is fine. In addition, if an Ulfenwatch group has 4 or more models, one of the models must be an Ulfenwatch Sergeant if one is available, and one of the models must be an Ulfenwatch Banner Bearer if one is available. A Banner Bearer, reroll failed attack rolls for weapon actions made by Ulfenwatch while an Ulfenwatch Banner Bearer is visible to the acting hostile. So basically, if the banner's out, then people are going to be rerolling their dice because they're inspired by the Banner Bearer. And then the Ulfenwatch Officer, add 1 to the wounds value of an Ulfenwatch Sergeant. So we have an Ulfenwatch Sergeant on the board, so he is going to be an additional wound. So he's got 3 wounds on him. And then we'll get to the behavior table when that appears. Next, we have the Corpse Rats. So, Corpse Rats, they've got movement of 3, wounds of 3, they're large, which means you can only have 1 of them per little square. They've got an infected bite. So, a hero that suffers damage from an infected bite weapon action is diseased, and I will get to what diseased is when it happens. So, special rules, a Feral Pact, a hostile group that contains 3 or fewer Corpse Rat models cannot include more than 1 Blood Rat model, which is fine, we've only got 1. And we don't need to worry about this last one here. Swollen Horror. Add 1 to the wound value of a Blood Rat. So the Blood Rats have wounds of 4. And then Watch Captain Halgrim is our last guy here. He's got move of 3, 7 wounds. He's large. He's also got cursed weapons. So he's rolling 2 blue dice. He does 3 or 4 damage. He's got Deathly Loyalty. This hostile group cannot be driven off while this hostile is on the battlefield. There's only him in the group, so we don't need to worry about that. And then Commander of the Watch, increase the damage values of all Elfin Watch weapon actions by 1+1 while this hostile is on the battlefield. So we're going to have to try and take out Watch Captain Halgrim first. That's my kind of first idea here. So, like I say, we're going to kill 10 champions, and once we've done that, we can end and we can try and call for the Adamant, which is a large skyship which is waiting for us to pick us up. So, let's go through the turn. So to begin with, we have the journey phase. And the journey phase just consists of this little dial here. Now, because there are vampires in this game, would be amiss if we didn't go into nightfall. So when this kind of golden thing here moves all the way to nightfall, we're going to be flipping the enemy's character sheets over, and they're going to be empowered. So we want to kind of get out of there before this happens. So the very first thing you do in a journey phase is you do the nightfall step, where you just move this one space around. Easy, right? And now we go to the Destiny phase. So the Destiny phase, we're going to be rolling these 5 dice. Any dice which are the same are going to remain in this area here. Any dice which aren't the same are going to be placed into this area here and are usable by the characters. So we got 2 3s, so they're going to be staying in there. We have a 4, we have a 6, and we have a 1. So each of my characters can use up to 2 of these on their turn. And when we use them, we place them back into this area here. And once they're gone, they're gone. But we'll get them again next round. So we do the initiative phase now. And because, you know, guys, if you watch any of my videos, I don't like you guys thinking I've stacked the deck in any way. So I'm just going to quickly take these back up, shuffle them, and we're going to see what comes out of the mix. So, first one. So, the Elfin Watch are going to go first because they're in our 3rd skull position there. Followed by the Corpse Rats are going to activate. Followed by Ogre, Brutog, Corpse Eater. Followed by Halgrim. And then we've got the rest of our guys. Jelson. We've got Imelda. And then finally, Morval Ulbrecht is going to be last. Which is fine because the enemies are going to be moving and hopefully get into a tile where Morval might be able to use his special abilities. Okay, so that was all you do for the initiative phase. So we do the activation phase, and this is where things really come into effect now. And I said that, but I've actually still got to roll my dice. So apologies. Initiative phase actually includes rolling dice. So Jelson's first, and Jelson gets a 3, a 5, a 3, and a 3. So they're all going to go onto his sheet. Then Brutog, Corpse Eater. Rolling 4 dice for him. He's got a 6, a 5, a 3, and a 2. Moving over to Imelda. So we got a 3, a 4, a 2, and a 6. And finally, everyone's favourite wizard. We've got 2 6s, a 4, and a 3. Okay. So our first activation is going to be for the Elfin Watch, and we roll a dice to see what they're going to do. So we got a 3 on that, and on a 3, they do a charge action. So they're going to be moving double their speed, and then they're attacking. So they're going to do 2 movements and then attack. So they've got a movement of 3. So they're going to be moving 6 spaces and attacking if they can. They don't have any ranged weapons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've come straight down onto this tile here. Okay, next to activate are going to be the Corpse Rats. So let's roll the dice and see what they're going to get up to. So we got a 1 for the Corpse Rats. They have a Sewer Swarm, so we remove all wound counters from all acting hostiles. Then each acting hostile makes an advance action. So they're going to be moving and attacking. They have a speed of 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. So they're swarming over there. Okay, so our first character to activate is going to be Brutog, Corpse Eater. He's all the way over here. So we've got a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 6, and we can use some other things. I'm definitely going to use my tenderizing blow to begin with to try and kill somebody on this. So we're going to use his first dice, which is a 2, to move him 3 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2. Because we're next to we have to stop as soon as we're adjacent to an enemy, and you can attack diagonally. So I think I have to end my movement there. If I'm wrong, please leave answers on a postcard to say how we're doing with that. Okay, cool. So that was my first action. My next one, I'm going to use my 6 to try to do a tenderizing blow. So I'm rolling a red dice, and I get to reroll failed attack rolls. It's got a damage value of 3 or 5 here. Okay, so it's a failed one. I'll reroll again. And I got a critical. So I've got a 5 damage. I'm going to apply that straight to the sergeant, which is this guy here. So this guy is dead. We've killed one guy. And I'm going to place him on Brutog's sheet because at the end of his activation, he's going to be making a roll to see if he can get an inspiration point. Okay, so that's the first guy dead. And because we killed a sergeant, he's one of the champions that we have to get. So we move this up 1 every time we kill somebody who is on our list of people we want to take out. So Brutog's still there. We may as well carry on attacking. So we need a 4 or more to attack with his Maramasher. So we're going to use his 5 to roll another red dice. Don't get to re-roll these if we fail here though. And we got a single hit, which does 2 damage. And Ulfenwatch only have 2 wounds. So we have taken out the Ulfenwatch on our very first attack. And he has got 1 action left. 1 dice to use. So we're going to use his movement of 3 to do a run action. So he's going to move 4 spaces now. And we're going to move him up towards our watch captain there. So 1, 2. Actually, no, because he's going to be activating next. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's running through the crypts. Okay, so next is watch captain Halgrim. He's all the way up here. But before we do that, we have to make an inspiration roll. So what we're doing for this is we have to roll the quest dice, and we have to get equal to or under the value of wounds for the guys we've killed. And these guys' total wound value is 5. Now, because we are Brutog Corpse Eater, when we're making inspiration, we double the wounds value. So basically, we need 10 or less. We got a 2. Huzzah! So we get 1 inspiration point. Now, if we have 3 inspiration points, we can actually flip our character side over to their kind of inspired side. So our Ulfenwatch guys are out of the battle for now. So that was that. So now we go to Halgrim. We got a 7 on his behavior chart. He does a disciplined advance. This hostile makes an advance action, then all Ulfenwatch on the battlefield make an advance action. Luckily, we took out the Ulfenwatch, so he's going to be moving his speed, which is 3. So we've moved him up there. Okay, so that's all the hostiles have activated now, so it's now just my guys. So Jelson Darek is next, and we're going to get Jelson to come out there, all guns blazing. So we're going to use one of his 3s to do a run action. Okay, so he's now on the same space as the watch captain. So we're going to do a judgment attack. He only gets to do this once. So we're shooting with this. We're rolling 2 blue dice and we're keeping the best result out of these. Okay, so we got a single hit there. So that's going to do 2 damage to watch Captain Halgrim. And they don't get to defend against this. They just basically take the damage. So he has got 2 damage on him. And then we are going to move next to him. Oh no, before we do that, we get to do our firewood stake. So we roll a dice to see if we do any additional damage. And we got a critical hit there, so we do another damage to him. So that's 3 damage in total for watch Captain Halgrim. So he's only got 4 wounds left. Next, we're going to move Jelson with our 3 there. So we're going to move him next to our watch captain there. And then we're going to use his 3 here to use an Ardent Blade attack, which is a red dice. And we got a critical with this one. So Ardent Blade is going to do 3 damage. So he's only got 1 hit point left now. And because we did an attack, we get to use our firewood stakes again. Critical, which is 1 damage. We have just taken out this guy in 1 turn. And because we are Jelson Derek, his path to glory is every time a weapon action made by this hero slays a hostile champion, we gain an inspiration point. So he's got an inspiration point by just killing that 1 guy. And when we do our inspiration roll this turn, if we might get another one. So that's even better. So once again, we've taken out another guy. So what do we do now? So because we took out a champion, we are of course moving this on 1. So we are way ahead of the curve at the moment. And we're going to leave Jelson's turn there because there's actually no reason for him to do anything else. Oh yeah, do you know what? Why not? We're going to spend 1 of the destiny dice here to move him 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So he's next to a special item there. And we're going to search that maybe next turn. Okay, so next is Imelda. So Imelda, we are going to... She's only got her melee attack. I kind of don't want to get her on the same space as Morval because I kind of want Morval to do some damage. So we're just going to move her around a bit. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 using her first dice. We're then going to make her move an additional 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to make her run. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then because she's right next to this thing here, we're going to do a search action. And we're going to use 1 of the destiny dice for this. So we're using a 4 here to search this location. So we're going to remove this from the board. And I'm just going to shuffle these cards here so you know I've not stacked them in any way. And we draw the first card which we come to, which is a discovery treasure. So we found a vengeful mirror. This mirror can provide more protection than any steel shield until it breaks. A hero with this treasure card can use it immediately after suffering 1 damage point from an adjacent hostile's weapon action. When this treasure card is used, pick a hostile adjacent to this hero. That hostile suffers 1 damage and the hero does not suffer that 1 damage point. Then discard this card. So, Imelda's found a vengeful mirror. And I guess we're just going to move her 1, 2, 3 as her final action. Now we have Morval Albrecht, which on the audiobook, the guy sounds a bit like Al Pacino when he's reading him, which is great fun. So straight away we're going to run with Morval. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not quite on the same tile there. We're going to move him there. He's adjacent, so he can only use his Grave Bloom. But we're going to instead use his Soul Storm, which he only gets to do once per turn. And we're rolling a blue dice for each character on this board, apart from him. And we didn't get a critical, so it doesn't actually do anything. So he's going to use his 6 to attack with Grave Bloom. It's 2 dice. And he misses. And we're going to use our 6 from our Destiny to attack again. And it's another miss. So Morval Albrecht didn't do anything that round. So that is the end of our first round in Curse City. So what we have to do now is the event phase. So in the event phase, the players must first determine if the journey ends or continues. We've only managed to kill 2 champions. So this journey is still continuing at the moment, guys. So the next thing we do is we roll a dice. And there it is. So we've got a 3. 3 is the Will of the Master. The hostile group with a model furthest away from any hero makes a move action. If they're equidistant hostile groups, the leader picks which one makes a move action. So yeah, basically, these guys are going to move again. So we're going to move and surround Albrecht. So the rats have come in, which is ironic really, because Albrecht actually uses rats to communicate to find stuff out around the cursed city. So we're playing the rules as written at the moment, and that brings me to my first kind of rule query here, and that's spawning new units. But before we do that, Jelson Derek, I forgot to do his inspiration roll because he had killed this guy here, and he was 7 wounds. So we get 7 or less on this D12, we get another inspiration point. We got a 10, so we weren't inspired. I'd have been inspired by killing him, but hey, never mind. Okay, so we go back to our very first bit of the phase, and that is the journey phase. So journey phase, this should flip these guys over when I use them. This moves around 1, so we're now on here. This actually doesn't do anything, only in the in one of the particular type of journeys you do. We're in a hunt, so we don't need to worry about that at the moment. We now do the Destiny phase, so we're going to roll these 5 dice and hopefully get some good rolls here. We got 3 2s, so they're totally unusable, but we have a 5 and a 4 there. And now we're going to do the initiative phase. So we'll roll these dice. Got a 2, a 2, a 1, and a 4 for Jelson. Brutog. We've got a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 6. There. And then these guys, so we'll do Imelda. So 2 5s, a 2 and a 1. And Morval, last but not least, got a 6, a 5, a 2, and a 2. I'm glad we got 6 because I want to try and do Soulstorm this turn on all the rats that are in the same space. I'm very hopeful that he does not get, he gets activate before these guys, but we shall see. So we do the initiative step now, which is we take all of these initiative cards, we shake them up, and hopefully we're going to get more Val come out before those rats, but I don't fancy my chances. So the first one that comes out is Brutog. The next one is Imelda. Next, we have Morval. Then we have Group 2, which is going to be Watch Captain Halgrim, but he's no longer there. Then we have Group 3, which is going to be the Orphan Watch, which are no longer there. Then it's going to be the Corpse Rats, followed by Jelson. So Jelson's finishing our whole turn. So let's start with Brutog. So Brutog is all the way over here. Imelda beat him to that particular area. So we're probably just going to get him to run to try to get to the other thing across the other side of the map, I guess. So you can run as many times as you like on your turn. So we're just going to do that. So he's got a 3 there, so we're going to use that to run. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to use one of his 5s to make him run again. So that's another 4 spaces for our ogre. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to move him. 1, 2. And then we're going to spend his 6 to check out what's on this skeleton. And we found a treasure, a vial of concentrated potency. This thick red liquid may be of suspicious provenance, but its effects are unquestionable. Hero with this treasure card can use it anytime. When this treasure card is used, increase the damage value of the next melee type weapon action made by this hero this turn by +1/+2. That's really good because, I mean, he is a big ogre that uses melee, so that makes sense. We're going to Imelda now. Imelda's, again, not much to do. I'm fairly certain I can do an extract action here just to get the adamant down ready for us to escape here if and when necessary, really. So she's going to use a 1 to move over here. She's then going to use one of her 5s to summon the extract tile, which is this tile here. So some flares there. So at any point we can now go in there and we can exit the level. We're then going to use one of her 2s to move her 1, 2, 3, and then her last 5 to move her 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we've got Morval. So Morval is going to use his 6 to try to do a Soulstorm. And we're rolling a blue dice for each character on here, and any that are criticals does 3 damage, which will kill any of the regular corpse rats and do 3 damage to the blood rat. So we've got this blood rat. The blood rat is just in here because there's like this guy with a kind of skull for a face. I'm holding onto his tail. That's a blood rat. So we're going to go for him first. Critical hit. So we've done 3 damage to that blood rat. So I'm going to put that there. This guy here, miss, and the other one, a miss. Okay, cool. So we're going to go for Grave Bloom now. So Grave Bloom, we're going to attack that. We're going to use a 2 to do this. Missed. We're going to attack again with another 2. Missed. We're going to do a 5 here to attack again. Missed again. Okay, so we're actually out of dice for him, but we still have dice in our Destiny pool. So we're going to use a 5 there to roll. And we got a critical, which only does 2 damage, but is enough to send this guy to, well, they're already kind of in the realm of death, but somewhere even worse than that. So we killed a champion, we moved this on 1, and we're going to use this last dice with Morval to try to take out one of these guys. Although it won't do it, it'll only do... Oh, actually, do you know what? I think I'm going to move away from them, maybe. Yes. Instead of attacking, I'm going to move away. So he's got a speed of 3. Oh, they're still going to catch up to him. He's going to have to attack. So he does 1 damage to 1 rat. Okay, so next we're going to be going for Watch Captain Halgrim. He's next on the initiative tracker. So we have to check to see whether they're driven off. That means if there's less than a third of the original deployed forces, which is the case. If that is the case, then we attack with anyone left. And if there's no one left, we just flip over. So sorry, I get rid of this card and I replace the card with a face down encounter card. So I don't know who's going to be here. Okay, and we have the Ulfenwatch next, and they're going to do the same thing. So I get rid of their Ulfenwatch card. So that's now gone, and I get a new card come in, which I have no idea what that is. And then finally, we have our actual, our rats activate now. So let's see what they're going to do. And we got a 4. So they do a Sewer Swarm. Remove all wound counters from these guys. So that wound I did is no longer there. And they're going to do an advanced action. So they don't need to advance because they're right next to him. So they basically just attack. So it's 1 white dice each. So I'm going to roll 2 of these. And of course I get a critical hit with 1, which is going to be 2 damage. So I have to try to defend with this with using my defense, which is a white dice. And I got a critical. So that basically negates that attack, which is perfect. Okay, so it's Jelson's turn last, and he is going to... he's going to spend his 4 here to take a quick look at what this kind of crow's holding on to. So we draw a discovery, and we found Realmstone, which you can use to upgrade equipment and things like that, I believe. So Jelson's just going to kind of move back into the middle of the board, I think, with the remainder of his turn. So we've got a 2 here, which can move from 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to then move him another 3 spaces. So 1, 2. Actually, we'll move him there. And then he can shoot to try and get these guys. Although he can't. Judgment costs more than that, and he can't be adjacent. So I guess we'll just move him here, and that's the end of his go. So everyone's activated. We do an event roll now. And we got a 1. That can't be good. Do not make a destiny roll at the start of the next turn. So we will not be using any of our destiny dice. Cool. So we're on to our next turn now. So let us move on to the time tracker. So the time is 3, and we've got 3 champions slain at the moment. We are in a race to the finish, so let's see if we can do this in time. So we aren't going to be doing the Destiny phase because of that crisis that we just, not crisis, sorry, because that thing we just rolled. So we do an activation roll setup. So let's take a look at what Brutog and Jelson get. We get a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 2. And for Brutog, we get a 6, a 5, and a 1. Ooh, excellent. I'm really hoping I activate after the new things spawn on the board now. Okay, so let's see what Imelda with her Vengeful Mirror and Morval roll. So Morval has got a 5, a 4, and a 2. And over here for Imelda Braskov, we have got, oh, nice, 6, 6, a 5, and a 5. If I activate before anything here, apart from the rats, of course, I'm going to be pretty sad. Unfortunately, Morval's not going to be able to use his Soulstorm because I don't have any 6s with him, and there's no Destiny dice to use this round. So he's just going to have to be swiping him with Get Gravebloom, which hasn't done him much use so far. So now we go to the initiative phase. He was very lucky to get a critical defense last time, or he would have been diseased. Okay, so the first thing it activates is going to be Jelson Darroch, followed by Brutal Corpse Eater, followed by Imelda, followed by, all my guys activate before the enemy, and then the rats, and then we're going to find out what is going to be occurring here. Right, so Jelson Darroch is going to begin, and he doesn't have any dice he can use right now. So I can, however, kind of hold off with reactions. So here I can end the activation with one or more unspent activation dice on their character card. They might choose this or simply have nothing useful to do with those dice. So we have to reduce the scores of all remaining dice by 1. So we don't have any 1s on his character sheet. But yeah, he's basically going to be reduced significantly. So a 1, a 2, and a 2. So we can use these as reactions to anything that's, if someone's going to activate next to him, they move in and attack him, he can use those to attack back. Brutog Corpse Eater, do you know what? We're going to do exactly the same thing with Brutog. So his dice, one of his dice goes completely. We have a 4, we have a 5, we have a 5. This is the worst time to get a really good roll. Next, Imelda. So Imelda's going to come down and try and help out her old pal, Morval, although they're not really pals. So she's going to use a 5 to run. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's on this space here, and she's going to attack the rat with her next thing. So she's going to use a Death Blow. Death Blow lets her do 2 attacks against adjacent enemies. So she's got a critical hit, and a critical hit does 4 damage, which kills off one of these guys. And then she missed with the other one. She's going to use her 5 to do another attack, which is a red dice, which is critical, which kills them. And then we're going to keep her 6, and we'll reduce it to 5. And now we're going to roll for an inspiration to see if she managed to get inspired by killing off 6 wounds worth of enemy. And yeah, she got an inspiration point. Nice. Okay, Morval's turn. So Morval is just going to do the same thing as everyone else and reduce his values by 1. Because, yeah, there's nothing else he can actually do. We've got no points of interest on here. We've already put the extraction tile on the board. So we're now just waiting out what's going to come next. So the first thing we have on our initiative track is 1, which would have been the Corpse Rats, but they're gone now. So we remove their card. That card is now gone. And we draw out the next card. We don't know what that is until next turn. So now we have our first new horror. And it's, let's see what it is. Number 2 is going to be 2 Deadwalker Zombies. Now, the Deadwalker Zombies are not something you want to get in a hunt mission because they don't do anything. They just stop you from getting what you need to do. Because they don't have any champions. So this is what happens. I've got to place these monsters as far away as the heroes as possible. So they're going to be in the upmost place here. So we have 2 of these Deadwalker zombies up here. So these guys are small, so we can have multiple on the same space. They've got 3 wounds, a movement of 2, and they're using blue dice, so they're pretty good with their hands and teeth. They also use gravestones, so they can basically deploy gravestones on the board, which slow you down as well. These guys are not good to get in a hunt because, like I say, they just slow you down. You don't really want to have them come out here. And I believe this character is Will from Die Rollin. Yeah. So I'll have... It makes sense that he'd come out to annoy me. So we've got our final group is 1 Virkus Bloodborne. Okay, so Virkus Bloodborne is a kind of very emo style, thin looking vampire, and we're going to place him just down there because I think that's the furthest away from heroes. And let's take a look at his board. So a Virkus Bloodborne, movement of 5, wound 6. When picking a target for a weapon action made by this hospital, the leader must pick a hero that has 1 or more or grievous wounds counters on their character card over 1 that is not. Shadowfast. Each time this hostile suffer damage, the leader must roll the quest dice. If the result is 9 or more, the model ignores that damage. Oh, he's a slippery character. He does charges, and he does bloodthirsty charges. He's got Scent of Blood. And we'll get to those when he actually activates. Well, I say that. Everyone does an advance action. So he's going to move 5 spaces towards the closest hero. Now, the nice thing is, he's visible by Morval. And Morval's still got... oh, he doesn't. His word of ending, which is his ranged attack, needs a 5 or more, and the highest he's got are 4s. So that's going to be the end of this round. We're going to roll the dice to see what comes out of here. And we got a 7. So this is the event. It's going to be a 7. Our time grows short. Move the Nightfall token clockwise 1 space. Ugh. So that's not good. But it does mean we're not going to have to worry about Destiny dice next round. And that ends that particular round of Cursed City. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, guys, because this has been about and coming up to an hour now. And that is our very first attempt at Cursed City. The other part for this will be up soon. And yeah, hopefully you will come back and join me and tell me where I've gone wrong. Okay. So, because that took around 50 odd minutes, I thought I would split this video up. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this first journey. I'm fairly certain I played most of those things correctly. However, when I edit this, I will try to put some little descriptions at the bottom of places I have gone wrong, if I do go wrong, and spot them. But like I say, if you do spot something that I've done wrong, then please leave comments below. I'm still learning this game. My thoughts from, I mean, we've done a couple of rounds of this so far. My thoughts so far, I have quite enjoyed this. There's been a lot of talk about this is quite an easy game, but it gets harder as you level your characters up. But I quite like what I played so far. One thing I'm not so keen on is the components itself. I'm fairly certain with Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress, the cardboard components and generally the quality, the tokens and things like that were quite nice. Like, you picked up some of the cardboard tokens and they felt like cardboard. The ones in Cursed City feel like some kind of weird foam kind of thing. Like it doesn't feel like they're going to stand up to the test of time. Some of the tiles are a little warped, and I don't want to really kind of bend them because it doesn't feel like if I do that, they're going to, it's not going to break or something. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with the components. And when you kind of get one of these big box games, I think this retails for around £150 from Games Workshop itself, but you can get it from anywhere from £90 to the top end things. Or if you go on eBay, you're looking at quite a high price because people have picked up copies and knowing that this is going to be highly sought after, and they're selling them for quite a profit. So yeah, so I think when you're buying a game of a particular price point, you're expecting not only the miniatures to be good, but the rest of the components to also kind of follow suit with that. And I think with Blackstone Fortress, you got that, whereas with this, kind of feels like they've got some really nice miniatures and lovely artwork. The rulebook is pretty good, I think, anyway. But yeah, they've not followed through for all the cardboard components, and I kind of feel that they're a bit lacking. Which, you know, if this was a Kickstarter game, I would be more willing to forgive, because a lot of Kickstarter games, you know, these are smaller companies trying to fund their dreams and get them out there into the public. Whereas this is a well-established company, so I would have expected them to have, you know, some decent components, especially because Blackstone Fortress had really nice components in it. But with that in mind, overall, what I've played so far, I have quite enjoyed. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please like and subscribe to our various different other kind of social medias, so Facebook, Instagram, and of course our YouTube itself. And you can see a swath of other content, solo videos with yours truly, some reviews, comparison videos, a ton of stuff. Go check it out, guys, and you won't be disappointed. Or maybe you will, and if you are, let me know. And if you're not, let me know. Until next time, guys, please stay safe and keep rolling.